Chicago is pretty much why I started doing drag, because I was 15 years old, I was a boy, and I saw the movie Chicago, and I was like, well, those are the roles I should be playing.
Two-time Drag Race winner Jinkx Monsoon is living that dream right now. She's breaking barriers on Broadway as the very first drag queen to play matron Mama Morton in the hit musical Chicago. It is a performance that could be illegal in the state of Tennessee under the state's new ban on drag. And Tennessee is not an outlier. The ACLU is tracking more than 400 anti-LGBTQ bills under consideration in 40 of the 50 states. Here to discuss, Jinkx herself, current guest star in Chicago on Broadway and headliner of the upcoming national concert tour, Everything at Stake. Jinkx, I am so glad you're here. It seems right now drag is all people are talking about, and a lot of people don't seem to understand it.
Well, you know, it's like this. Drag is an art form that was born in the LGBTQIA plus community. So if you don't take time to get to know that community, of course aspects of drag are not going to make sense to you. But we don't have to understand everything to know that it should be allowed to exist. You know, like, I don't understand every cultural aspect of every culture different from my own, but nothing about me wants to tell people to stop doing it, because that's just people living their lives and being truthful to who they are. You know, like, why do we think we need to govern what other people do with their lives if it has no effect in our own? And that's what we're kind of seeing. Like, drag is just being demonized as a ploy, as a tactic. And it's really upsetting, because we're living in this time where things are really split, you know. I sit on my phone in my car on the way to Chicago every day, on the way to perform on Broadway, the American institution that is Broadway. And I sit there seeing people debate over the eradication, eradication?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. The eradication of members of my community and my art form. And then I go and I perform on Broadway to standing room only. We get standing ovations every night, and then the people stay at the stage door to meet me and have signatures and photos afterwards. It's like, what is going on? Where there are some people in the world who get that I'm just a human being living my life, doing what I do best. And there are some people in the world trying to blame everything wrong with our country on me.
Do you see, because drag is so celebrated in places like New York, standing room only, people are there to get your autograph, do you see a direct correlation, a backlash to who you are in other less progressive states? Success in New York, does that mean failure in Tennessee?
Well, you know what it is it's just this idea we've been conditioned to believe that somehow me having the same rights as every other citizen of this country is somehow taking away from other people. And we hear a lot of, like, religious freedom and religious expression. I'm sorry, if your religion requires you to infringe upon my rights, then I, as an American citizen, am supposed to be protected against your religion that wants to take away my rights. You know, I'm supposed to be protected as a citizen to have the same rights, liberties, and freedoms as everyone else. And if there is a religion that doesn't agree with that, then that religion shouldn't be governing our country, because that's not what our country supposedly stands for.
When you're not performing, are you transgender?
The term you would use for me out of drag is trans, femme, non-binary. Now, some people, when they get out of drag, you know, they might look like me, they might look like a beautiful redheaded woman, and then they get out of drag and they identify as male and use male pronouns. Some get out of drag and they identify as female. I identify as non-binary, which means I use they, them pronouns. And that's just me. That's just who I am.
Why do you think it gets people so angry? Right? Why does it matter what you look like when you wake up in the morning versus what you look like when you go out at night? Right? When I wake up in the morning, I'm not wearing a push-up bra and high heels, but I'm wearing them when I go out in the world and nobody's complaining about it. Yeah. Why are they complaining about it when it's you?
You know, a friend of mine, Alok V. Menon, who is a comedian, a poet, and an activist, constantly talking about these issues, says it is motivated by fear in the fact that imagine being told at whatever point in your life, however old you are now, imagine being told, hey, guess what? Everyone's been lying to you this whole time. They've been saying that because you're female, you need to dress this way and act this way and present this way and think this way and feel this way. And then what if someone told you, guess what? This whole time you've been lied to about that and it's really all your choice. Now imagine how infuriating that would be if you spent your whole life following the rules and then you were told those rules don't actually exist.
Okay, but can we talk about the rules for a minute? Because on one hand, people look at drag performers or they look at the transgender community and they want answers. They want to understand, who do you date? Who do you marry? Who do you sleep with? Why is it anybody's business? Right?
It's not.
Nobody's asking me what kind of sex you and your husband like to have. That's private business. Why isn't it your private business how you like to live your life?
Well, it is. I mean, it is my private business.
But don't you feel like society is demanding, right? I hear that.
Yeah,
I don't understand. I watch a drag performer. Who do they date? Who do they marry? Who cares?
Well, but that's the thing is we have been conditioned to believe that there is a right and a wrong way to do things, and there's a natural and an unnatural way to do things. When we should be being told that whatever works for you is natural and normal and right. And of course, then topics get brought up of like, oh, that's a slippery slope, because if we tell everyone to do what feels right, but we're also asking people to use common sense. Like, I'm not saying do whatever feels right at the cost of anyone else. I'm saying if it only affects you, then do what feels right for you. Like, that's what we're talking about, is like, that's what I'm talking about, at least.
Does it feel crazy to you, the amount of focus, the amount of attacks on the LGBTQIA plus community? I mean, especially when we think about trans issues, that's a tiny, tiny portion of society. Yeah. When you think about all of the huge problems we have in the United States, the trans community makes up a tiny sliver of people, yet it's getting a huge amount of focus.
Yeah, and that's a tactic, and that's being done on purpose.
Does that scare you?
Of course it scares me. You know what scares me is not the politician who said transgenderism needs to be eradicated. Of course that scares me. Yes, that scares me. But what scares me more is the people who clapped for it. Because I don't even think those people think that by clapping for that, they're supporting the true eradication. You're almost there. Gosh, the true eradication of a whole group of people. They just want this thing that they don't understand to go away. I'm sorry. You gotta, like, that's not how our world has ever worked. And what I want to say to the people trying to oppress my community right now is, look what's happened every time you've tried to oppress a community in America. Sure, we're not at a perfect place now. Sure, we still have a lot of work. But oppression doesn't work in America. That's not what we're founded on. You tried to oppress women, women got the vote. You try to oppress people of color, we are not accepting that anymore. We're not accepting that some citizens just have to sit on the outside and be the outliers of our society, because that's not what this country was supposedly founded on.
All right, we are covering some very heavy stuff. I want to talk, I want you to showcase your good stuff. You are very, very well known for your impressions, so I cannot let you leave without doing a few for us. Let's start with Judy Garland.
Well, Judy, I don't like to presume I know much of what Judy would say today, but I do know that Judy loved her LGBTQ AI plus community audience members, and she'd be just very cross with the people who are trying to take out their anger on people who don't deserve it.
Natasha Lyonne.
Natasha, great example of someone who sets their own rules and lives by them. I mean, this lady's so successful. She's not following gender norms. She's not following heteronormativity. She's just living her life as Natasha would.
Okay, my number one favorite, Jennifer Coolidge.
Well, Jennifer Coolidge is having a wonderful renaissance right now. Another person who loves my community because we know who to celebrate, and we've been celebrating Jennifer Coolidge for decades, and now the rest of the world is caught up. You know, we're the tastemakers. We're the trendsetters. You're welcome.
Okay, Jinkx as Jinkx, before we go, you are celebrated, you are successful, you are beloved. But there are all sorts of people in your community, in other parts of this country, in other parts of the world right now, who are scared, who are under attack. What's your message to them?
My message is always, you know, find your community. You know, sometimes that means having to move, and that sucks. Because we should be safe wherever we live.
Well, you've been doing this
country.
since you were 15.
I've been doing this since I was 15 because I lived in a place where it was safe for me to do it. I was born and raised in Portland, Oregon. That's where I live once more. There are places where it's safe to be queer or a drag queen or trans at any age. And there are places in this country where it's not, obviously. I mean, they're still debating whether we deserve to exist in certain parts of our country. And so I say to you, keep yourself safe. Self-preservation should be, you know, up there on your priority list because we need you here. We need you with us to keep fighting for our freedoms and liberties and equalities. And if you have to move to a more metropolitan area until the rest of the country catches up, you know, do what it takes to keep yourself safe and find your community so that you can live your life truthfully and unapologetically.
Madame, you don't just exist, you shine.